thank you for tuning in. I want to encourage you before we even start to share this video because as we do every week, today we are going to have lots of important information because I have in studio a health guru, someone that is very experienced in nutritional needs and personal fitness, and we're going to be talking about the connection that plays to our physical, and not only our physical, but our emotional wellness. I think many times we are guilty of not realizing the impact of a healthy lifestyle on our overall well-being. And you know, women, as we get older, so many changes occur in the body. There's so many deficiencies that take place that, you know, we have to really, really make an effort to take care of ourselves. A friend of mine said it to me like this. You know, we're like cars. The older a car gets, the more maintenance it requires. And we have to really accept that, embrace that, and be proactive about keeping ourselves not only physically well, but emotionally well as well. As you all know, my show is all about mental wellness, and today is no different. Whatever we speak about, I like to bring that across because we're finding that so many women and even men are experiencing a lot of emotional challenges in their life. Anxiety, depression is on the rise. And as you all know, I've shared my journey and I continue to share my journeys. I continue to go through with my challenges with depression and anxiety. And it's caused me to have to educate myself and really look at the connection of all aspects of my life to my personal well-being. So, on that note, without further ado, I am going to say a rousing good morning to my guest in studio, my girl from Nassau, Shay Thompson. Yes. So I want to say welcome, Shay. You know, Shay is flew in. Shay has some exciting information to give us, and she also has an exciting event that she's planning here in Freeport, Saturday and Sunday. You're going to hear more about that. So I want to say thank you for coming, Shay. Thank you for blessing us with your presence, and I'm excited about the information that I am sure you're going to share with our viewing audience this morning. Now, before I get into the meat of the matter, I just want to say a big, big thank you to my partners who believe in what Real Talk is doing, who believe in the impact we're having on the community. And that is Richie's Calypso Shoe Store downtown. We all know that Richie's has been your family-friendly shoe store and has been in business in the Grand Bahama community for over 40 years. So for all your shoe needs, please check out Rhonda and the girls down there at Richie's, okay? From infant sizes straight up to the basketball player, size 15. So they have everything that you need. They're trending with all the latest fashion. So go down there, check out what they have, support our local business. And my next partner, not only even in the show, but partner in life, Clifford Bowe. It's simply the best. Video productions, audio, visual is his specialty. And if it were not for him, truly this would not be possible. You know, he's here to ensure that the footage is clean, that the audio is crisp, that you get a real good show that you're able to enjoy. So I want to say a great big thank you to Simply the Best. Check them out for all your video needs, for all your audio needs, for all your multimedia needs down there in the Mayerport building, okay? So thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Shay, before we get into anything, I want you to tell our viewing audience who you are and what you do back there in big city Nassau.
Nassau. So good morning, and thank you so much. It's so good to be back home. Grand Bahama is my home, and whenever I get here, I immediately feel a sense of connection. I feel healthy. I feel the air. You know, it's just always a beautiful thing to be back home. And so thank you so much. And
Thank
your
you.
show's usually on Thursday.
Yes.
Thank you for hosting me on this Friday. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
to be here. Listen, I am yours truly, Shay King. I am first a mother of four beautiful daughters and a son. I am a holistic nutritionist, and what that means is my
Right, I was going to
nutrition
ask you
encompasses
that now.
mind, body, and I do a lot of things. When you talk about health and eating emotionally well, There you
on.
go. This is what
Thursday.
Chrishna talk about being live. This is one of the things I love to do. I'm also a facilitator and counselor with a young adults group with Dr. Allen and the family, and my area particularly is nutritional psychology. So that's me, Chrishna,
Nutritional
in a nutshell.
psychology.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Connecting that bridge between how you feel and what you eat.
Okay. All right. So you have a lot of clients back there in Nassau. Share a lot of people that you help to get them to where they need to be, not only physically but emotionally.
Yes, yes. And the thing is, I can tell you as a nutrition coach, I've learned not to take it for granted in terms of what my client looks like, what their background is, in terms of what they're feeling when they're reaching out to me for support and for help. There are tons of us out there, Chrishna. There's lots of us, men and women alike. But what I find now is I lean more towards the mature women and men. You know, that between the 40, 65
Right,
plus,
right.
these are the people that I'm coaching, and these are the
Right.
people that I'm getting help from. So I want to
Right.
say a special hello to all of my clients. Yes, and
Yes, yes,
so
yes,
I'll
of
be back
course,
home
of
soon.
course, of course. Okay, all right. Well, that was a lot of information.
Thank you.
And what I want you to do before we get into talking about the benefits directly, I want you to talk about what you're hosting this weekend because you're on island to host a healthy cooking show this weekend. So
Yes.
tell us about that and all of the details. We want all of the details, where it's going to be, when it's going to be, the times, and what you are going to be imparting
Okay.
to your audience.
Well, as a result of my cooking show, what I can tell you is people get to experience tasting, they get to experience seeing foods, not just foods, but seeds, nuts, fruits and vegetables prepared differently, and see the connection between the food and the mood. One of the things I talk about when I'm in my healthy cooking classes, I definitely want to separate healthy cooking and uncooking with traditional cooking. And so if you are a person that's interested in using your food as a healing property, transforming your food and using more fruits and vegetables, this cooking class is definitely for you. I want to show you how you can connect using spices, traditional spices and herbs that we tend to use only during the holiday time or seasonal time, where we can use it every day, implemented in our cooking, and of course implemented as a whole to help us to just live a holistic, better life. And my number one rule is it has to taste good.
Oh, I agree. I
Has
agree.
to taste good.
Okay, so these cooking classes, where are they taking place?
Well, they're going to be right here on West Atlantic Drive. It is the Cancer Association building.
Okay, that's
And
down from the Salvation Army, right?
down from the Salvation
Okay.
Army. Those are the Salvation Army. Dr. Nelma Headley, she is one of the sponsors for the Healthy Cooking Show as well.
okay.
What I did, I want to say, is I did reach out to corporate sponsors just to make this cooking workshop really more affordable to Grand Bahamians, because I do
Right.
understand the economy and what's happening here. So Norma Headley, she is one of the sponsors.
Okay.
And so it's going to be at the Cancer Association building, but it's not only one night, it's 2 nights. It
Right.
is Saturday and Sunday from 3 to 5. So we made it an evening time. And so if you have things to do on a Saturday, you can
Right.
definitely take part in the cooking workshop. It's 3 to
Yeah.
5 on Saturday.
Right.
And for those of you that go to church on Saturday, we also have it on Sunday as well from 3 to 5.
Okay.
And we start on time,
Right.
3 to 5.
Okay, so tell me something. Is it the same show both days, or
It is the same show both days.
Okay,
It's
so you can
intentionally because I
actually
want to be able
choose-
to. Yes, I want to
Okay.
be able to have. See, the thing is, understanding the economy going on in Grand Bahama, one of the things I wanted to make sure was really everyone had an opportunity to take part in this cooking workshop. This cooking workshop is going to be an experience like none other. I really want people to open their eyes when they look at what is breakfast food, using more fruits and vegetables, tying in a lot of herbs and seeds and nuts,
Right.
really to transform your food and to
Right.
get us to a healthier place. I just think that what we've been eating over the years is really not food.
It's really junk.
Yeah.
It's really junk, and that this is the downside to Bahamian culture, because truly our diet, it gives no, how do I put this? Doesn't take nutrition into account at all.
No.
We use a lot of fats, unhealthy fats. We cook really fatty you know, I find that the peas and rice and the baked macaroni, we always have too many starches on our plate. The whole gamut of
Yeah.
the way a traditional Bahamian eats. I mean,
Yes.
now the food tastes good now,
Yeah.
but it's really extremely unhealthy. And I
Yes.
think we see that in our society because, Shay, most of us Bahamian women are overweight.
Yes, and unfortunately, even in addition to all of those negative habits we have, we eat the same foods all the time. And so we put ourselves at a great disadvantages for being introduced to different nutrients, the nutrients that we tend to lose more as we age. And so even in eating what we normally eat, I think it's important as well to eat also different foods. I think that's a deficit as a part of our nutritional play as
because
well.
our meal is rice, more rice,
Right.
barbecue ribs,
And potato salad.
potato salad. Yeah, man, stuff tastes good, but truly, I realize the detriment, unfortunately,
Yes.
in eating like that. Want to say hi? So I see Deborah's tuning in, Bridget, of course, Old Faithful, Leonora. Thank you, ladies. Please share the video because this is a lot of good information. Shay, how much is this cooking workshop?
Believe it or not, the cooking workshop is actually $15, and that's for general seating.
That is really
Yes,
not,
$15.
that is really not an expensive rate.
Yes, and that's intentional, right? I have two rates. I have 15 and 20, but like I said, that's intentional. Being from Grand Bahama, I wanted to make sure to give every opportunity for people to come out to experience this healthy cooking workshop because I know it is needed, and I know what I do definitely is going to help to transform, change your mind, and help you to really see food differently and connect that bridge between what you eat and how you feel when you eat what you eat. That's real important to me when I'm doing my class.
I think that we cannot emphasize enough the connection that healthy eating plays to our overall well-being.
Yes, yes, especially as we get older.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, especially as we get older. I think we abuse our bodies when we're young, but the body's young, it's resilient, it's able to bounce back.
Yes.
We don't feel it as much, but I find that once you start to hit that 40,
Woo.
things become very, very different.
Yes.
And that car needs
Maintenance, yes.
You know, there's no getting around it anymore.
Yes.
So, well, all right. As we talk about this, healthy eating, how important is this for women, Shay?
The thing is, I want to define healthy eating because when I talk to my clients, Chrishna, a lot of them, when I say to them, tell me what it is that you're eating. And for some of them, they think that they're eating healthy, and they equate eating healthy to either boiling their foods, not using as much fat, and even in some cases, they would refer to cutting out meats. And so I just want to say, you know, while that may be a transition from depending on where the client is coming from, that does not necessarily describe healthy eating. When you talk about healthy eating, you definitely want to be eating whole foods. And whole foods is really this food in its whole form, not being transformed yet. Then secondly is you want the majority of the foods that you eat to be live foods. A whole food is a broccoli. It's a broccoli. The whole food is a broccoli. A whole food is in its raw state or as well as being steamed. Now, once you take this broccoli and you immerse it in water and you cook it for more than 10 minutes, then immediately the nutritional value plummets and almost to nil. And so you definitely want to keep your food, what I refer to is 50-50, and meaning half of the food on the plate cooked and half of it raw. Uncooked.
Right. So when you use the term raw, we're just talking about foods that are uncooked.
Uncooked, correct. You got it. Yes. Right. You know, raw is just one of those buzzwords, but I like that you're saying it.
I'm breaking it down for my people who are watching. You know, I know that
Absolutely.
This is your world and you have
yes.
But keep going. I wanted to.
Yeah, and so when you look at food, what is important is if you're using food really to heal yourself, if you're using food really to change the mind, to heal the body, to reverse diseases, it's important that your food is in its whole state. It's important that the food is raw, and in addition to that, you definitely want to look at more organic foods, foods that are in season, and also foods that are local. That's important when you're talking about health as a component. We have to consider all of those aspects of healthy eating.
Okay, when you say foods that are local, you're talking about going to the market?
Sapodilla girl, sour sop, tamarind, all of the things that we tend not to eat. We buy most of our fruits, unfortunately, in the grocery store. And really, when you talk about local, we have a myriad of local fruits, particularly fruits. Right here on the island, we got juju, we got, what are some of the fruits? We got mangoes, cocoa plum. We have a whole bunch of fruits locally. When I was in IKSON just 2 weeks ago doing this same workshop here in IKSON, I want to tell you, the host pastor there at Mount Hermon Baptist Church, he asked me what did I want for breakfast, and I said I saw my breakfast on the way coming up. I saw a whole bunch of cocoa plum tree. Needless to say, I overate, but nonetheless, I had my breakfast live and what you refer to as raw. So even when we talk about eating raw, one of the first things I want to encourage people is start the morning with something raw, something live, something uncooked, because we are live beings and we are breaking a fast. So the first thing we should be putting in our mouths is live foods.
And the thing is, why it's so important to cook raw, Shay, is because most foods have the bulk of their nutrients in their raw state, correct?
Yes. The food naturally has what you refer to as enzymes, naturally occurring. And these enzymes is what actually use when we ingest the food to extract the nutrients from the food, whether you call them micronutrients or macronutrients from the food, to be able to transfer it into our bodies for it to act as energy and to give us what it is that we need. The more we add heat to the food and the more we cook the food, the less chance that we have in order to get these nutrients and enzymes to break these foods down. So really it's helping our body in keeping the food in its state.
I think that's important because I don't think a lot of people realize that cooking can actually compromise the nutritional value of the foods.
Right. You're absolutely right. See, one of the things when I started shaking 50-50, what I wanted to do is bridge that gap, because there are a lot of raw foodists out there. And I understand that is one of the extremes, because I do all raw twice a year and I do it every year, because there are some benefits to just going raw completely for 21 days. But when you're bridging that gap for people that are eating most of their food cooked, it is important that you have that in between. And Shake 50-50 is that balance of raw food on the plate and cooked food. Now, I can tell you this, if you're eating a plate for dinner and all of the food on it is cooked, you're already at a disadvantage.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So you want to embrace raw foods. You want to embrace foods that are uncooked. Even if you have to, believe it or not, when we talk about cabbage, cabbage is one of those staple foods that we eat often. Two little changes when you're eating cabbage can make a huge difference, and when you're preparing it. First, change from white cabbage to purple cabbage. That's one.
Right.
And then change to, if you felt like you need to cook.
From white cabbage to purple cabbage.
Yes, from white to purple. Because, of course, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, the darker the color, the more nutrient dense it is. One.
Okay.
And then additionally is how I help us as a nation to kind of change our concept so we would be introduced to more nutrients is switching out our traditional foods. Believe it or not, one of my clients who loves cabbage has never tried purple cabbage.
Yeah, I've never cooked purple cabbage either.
Okay, and so this is how I try to get people to change out and switch up just a little bit and prepare the same types of food, but just change out a type of or a color of cabbage. And of course, you're already at an advantage of getting more nutrients by getting the purple cabbage versus the white cabbage. And then additionally, don't cook the cabbage. If you have to, boil water, season your water, and then actually pour it over your cabbage and then pour the water off. So you're just literally steaming it lightly and just taking a little bit of the crunch out. Yes.
Right. I don't know if that's a word, but I certainly know it's what we use in the Bahamian.
Yes.
In the Bahamian dialect.
And Bahamian dialect, and we all
so just
understand.
Scald the
cabbage. It. You got it. Scald it off.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And again, this is those ways where I like to bridge that gap between people who love to eat cooked food and getting them to eventually eating more raw and live foods. That's one of the things I love to do, because I don't want to hear the excuse that, Shay, I cannot eat live, or it's difficult for me to eat live. So I find ways, especially being a mother of 5, to make it easy.
Shay, you made your contribution to society.
I did. You also did as well. So
yes.
Congratulations on that. But it's so important for me as a nutrition coach to get people to see food differently, and also give them the opportunity in such a easy way to be introduced to a new way of cooking,
Yes.
and watching them connect the bridge of how the new way of cooking is making them feel.
Yeah, I think for me, I am really, really learning the benefits, because since I started this journey 3 years ago, I've had a couple of physical things going on as well. I just think like, even since I got 40, oh my God, like what happened? I just feel like a lot of stuff is happening with the body. The body's not feeling as well as it used to.
Yes.
You seem to have more physical ailments. And because of that, and even like I said, the depression, the anxiety, I've done a bit of research myself, and I'm really realizing the connection between what we eat and how it affects us physically and mentally, you know? So I think that it's so important what you're doing, because I don't think women even realize it. And then I think sometimes what we try to do, Shay, and I've been guilty of this, we try to outwork that bad food. Like for those of us who have decided, okay, we're going to work out, we try to outwork that bad food, and then sometimes we focus solely on the weight loss aspect of being healthy, wherein losing weight is very good because we don't need to be overweight. But the reality of it is, if we ate well to begin with, or if we started to commit to eating well, chances are we would lose the weight in any event, correct?
Correct. That is a mouthful, and I love the entire mouthful. I always liken things to food. That's one of the things I do. You are so correct. When I coach my clients, Chrishna, one of the first things I say to them is, if you are here with me for weight loss only, I'm not the coach for you. Secondly is, I want you to really give food the opportunity to transform your life, including losing weight. If you put food as the primary, the weight will definitely come off. And then for the most part, if you have, quote unquote, like me, I got to lose about 8 pounds right now. If you really have a weight problem, I see the eye rolling.
Yes, I'm thinking 8 pounds. It looks slim to me.
You have those days, those months when you're a little bit off. But what I'm essentially saying is that if you look at food primarily as the most important component of your overall weight loss, and add in all of the additional stuff, really weight will not really be an issue. You have to see food as first the catalyst. Things like exercise play a role, but it plays a smaller role. I can tell you today.
20% rule, right?
Yes, it's 20%.
I want people to realize
yes,
that
it is 20%.
even if you're looking to lose weight, that exercise is only 20% really of that overall program.
Yes,
and if
really
you continue to eat really, really
poorly,
I like that word, poorly, you will find that even though you're exercising regularly, the weight may still not come off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Not only that it wouldn't come off, you would find yourself feeling still a little bit off, feeling bad in terms of your indigestion, feeling not cohesive, not feeling together. So, but you're exercising. And that's why it's so important to put food first, because it connects that mood, even wanting to exercise. I tell my clients, you'll start to experience, if you start to eat better, if you had a problem with exercising, you would want to exercise more. So it really helps you to feel better in terms of exercising. Pardon me. Even when we look at traditional foods that we're using, one of the things I love to do is I like to get people to see the everyday foods, just tweak it a little bit and turn it into, wow, you mean these foods can actually help me with things. When you just look at depression, just depression, anxiety. I bought some spices with me. Okay. Let me tell you, nutmeg is not a new name. Nutmeg. No, that's what do we call it here in the Bahamas? Is that the holiday spice?
Yes.
Yeah, for the most part, we use nutmeg during the holiday. Yeah. But I can tell you, nutmeg is just not a nut. First of all, it's a seed, and then secondly, it is one of those foods that you want to have in your pantry. Right. If you are over 40, if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, if you're dealing with insomnia, sleep deficit, if you're dealing with gum disease issues, halitosis, bad breath, overweight. Nutmeg should be a spice in your cupboard, but not just in your cupboard, but you should be using it every day.
Wow, wow. Good morning to Eleanor. I just want to say a shout out every so often to the Facebook persons viewing. Eleanor, Burton, and Troy. We have some males tuning in.
Hey, to the males.
So we will have to make sure that they're included in our
yes,
discussion.
absolutely.
But wow, that is a lot of information about nutmeg.
Yes,
I'm
it is.
surprised.
Yes, it is.
That is really a spice that I do not use.
Yes, and for the most part, most of us use it during the holiday. And so in this cooking workshop, I intentionally made recipes with nutmeg because I want people to get the experience. Just opening up, can I reach here for my nutmeg?
Yeah.
Thank you. Just opening it up in the room and kind of sniffing it. And this is some of the things that I do when it comes to using a spice. I open it up and I put it on the counter. I will grater it. And just in the morning, if you feel yourself a little lethargic and moving slow, just take the nostril. Inhale, just about 15 to 20 seconds, and do the same thing on the other side. Deep breaths.
Really?
And watch the amazing difference.
You gotta leave one or two of them with me, Shay.
Hey,
I mean,
I always got you set up.
Yeah, I can buy my own, but seeing that you have them there.
I always got you
'Cause
set up.
I certainly feel lethargic this morning. I could
Yes.
certainly use some of that. Come, give me,
Yes,
give me,
yeah,
give me,
let me
let
catch
me
you,
inhale
get it?
mine now.
Boom.
Now, Shay, I was
We
in
can
a
do this
good
'cause we
sport,
live.
Yeah. So let me.
Yeah, inhale that now. I actually have my grater with me too. But let me tell you, nutmeg is a forgotten spice. It is, I call it a healing spice, a healing seed and a healing nut. And because we're familiar with nutmeg, I wanted to use this in my cooking workshop because we're familiar with it, but I want us to become more familiar with nutmeg. I want us really to use nutmeg in conjunction with not just cooking, but healing and tying in the mental component of nutmeg as well.
Shay, for me, very important because you know how it is. What affects us most, I guess, is what we focus on.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
for me, I'm all about finding whatever, especially natural remedies that we can use to help us keep emotionally balanced.
Yes.
Just want to take this moment to say a shout out to my partners again, Richie's Calypso. Ladies, gents, all my viewing audience, please support Richie's Calypso down in the Churchill Square, and simply the best audiovisual company there in the Mayport building. So thank you again, partners. Okay, Shay, so nutmeg.
Yeah, nutmeg.
Yes.
Let me just go over some of these benefits again. Outside, well, first of all, it relieves pain, soothes indigestions, it strengthens, detoxifies the body, skin health, alleviates oral conditions like gingivitis, if you have gum disease, bleeding gums, you just want to strengthen your gum overall. However, in addition to all of that, nutmeg is tied to a lot of cognitive conditions.
Really?
Yes, and when we talk about cognitive...
I was just about to tell you, let's put it in layman terms.
Yes, we put this in layman terms. When we talk about cognitive, is anything that is tied to helping you think or connect a thought to what it is that you want to accomplish.
Right.
And so it's your thinking skill.
Like your brain function, the alertness or the level of alertness that you would have
helping you to be
thinking.
Perfect. That's it right there. And when you think of cognitive, sometimes we can just be overwhelmed. Sometimes we refer to it as just having a sad day. Even if you're not clinically diagnosed with depression and anxiety, some days your days might be starting slow. Some days you may just be a little bit lethargic. You're not moving as quickly. Open up a nutmeg, put it in the house. Just listen, just watch the aroma and the scent. Inhale it for a moment, take it around with you, and just watch and help to see the difference of how nutmeg will actually change and help you to just function in what I refer to as just like your normal pace.
Right, your normal pace.
And your normal pace.
And what I wanted to ask you, okay, in addition to inhaling it, if we're going to use it in our foods, what would you say daily is an acceptable amount? Well,
the thing is, nutmeg is really like this whole nutmeg right here, you just need a small pea amount because it's extremely potent, and because it has a lot of oils attached to it, it's in its whole form, and this is exactly how you want to use it.
Right.
Don't necessarily get the nutmeg powder if you are using it for medicinal purpose. If you're using it just for taste, you can get the powder, but if you're using it for medicinal purposes...
So let's not get the powder, let's stick with this.
Stuck with the nutmeg. So one of the things you want to do is just simply grater it. Let's say you're having oatmeal. Grated the nutmeg. Let's say you have
this whole one?
No, you're just going to take a little. As a matter of fact, I even brought my file with me. I brought my food file with me, and you're just going to simply grater it back and forth, maybe about 3 times. That's it.
Okay.
And so it's just like what you would call a pinch.
Okay.
Just a pinch.
Okay.
And let's say you top it with your oatmeal. But everything that you're doing, you're using it as a topper. Let's say you decided to have a green smoothie or a protein shake. When the shake is already being made, do the same exact same thing.
I see.
Let's say you had fried eggs. Do the exact same thing over your fried eggs. Really, you can incorporate nutmeg in almost every way. And that's why I'm excited about the class on Saturday and Sunday,
I'm
because
excited about what
I
you're
am going to be
saying,
showing
too.
you a lot of ways that you can implement these
Nora
foods
said, okay,
very
I'm cooking
easily.
nutmeg chicken today. Sounds
There
like
you go.
it.
Yes, there you go. Really, it appears to be complex, but it's really simple. You can find
And that's what
so
I
many
like,
ways.
Shay. I like simple because
Yes, simple is
healthy
good.
eating, I think that's what discourages the regular man,
Yes.
like me. It can become so complicated.
Yes.
And not only that, very time consuming.
Yes.
And most people have a 9 to 5. Women have children, all these other responsibilities, and you just don't have the time
You don't.
to be in the kitchen the way our ancestors used to be.
Yeah.
Most women are not stay-at-home moms anymore.
No.
And even if we are, I don't know why, I still say a bunch of stay-at-home moms. I know some stay-at-home moms, man, they busier than the working moms.
They are.
Because the children got a million activity, you know. But
a lot of stuff.
The point being that we are really leading very busy lives.
And I'm glad you said that, because this is, again, when I think about doing this workshop, I tie in all of those components, being a busy mom. And this is why my workshop is 50-50. Most of the food that you're going to see transform on Saturday and Sunday is not going to be cooked. I'm going to do a lasagna. Is my lasagna going in the oven? No. So this, and lasagna takes time between layer and layer. So this is a real lasagna, nutrient dense, but we're not baking this lasagna at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So time definitely is a factor when it comes to the kitchen.
So let's
because
tell
I love to cook, but I don't love to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and it's so bad. I don't like the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm one of those persons I really cook to survive. I don't. I know some people enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm getting in and out of there to just do what I have to do. So I'm all into easy.
Yeah.
I'm a lazy kitchen person. I'm all into easy. So hey Glenn. Glenn is tuning in from now.
Hey
So
Glenn.
Shay lives where you're at. So and I know you're into your fitness. So and we have Vanessa. Thank you for tuning in, Vanessa. Wow. So Shay, this cooking workshop again is gonna be at the Cancer Association building, which is down the street, everyone, from the Salvation Army. It's going to take place this coming Saturday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. For those of you who Saturday does not work for, you can then come on Sunday, and it's going to take place on Sunday again from 3 to 5 p.m. And I'm encouraging you to do this because this can really be transformational. And that's what I want to get across to our audience, because I'm one of those. I am really trying because I now realize the value of healthy eating and just what an impact it can have on my life. So I'm really, really trying to see how I can start to change the way that I eat, and to incorporate more healthy foods into my diet. Now, you gave us a bunch of benefits. Now, Shay, as we get older, we spoke about this earlier, we go into our perimenopausal stages, we go into our menopause stages. Things start to really drastically change, I would say, for most women. For 70% of women, I think when I had checked the statistics, you got 30% of women who just really blessed and they kind of sail through menopause and it's no problem and they don't even realize they're changing life, and one day they're seeing their cycle and the next they're not and they're good. Yeah. And then there's the rest of us, the next 70% of us, that really menopause is a really, I don't even know how to describe it, but it is a very interesting process. Yes. And it really wreaks havoc on our lives because our body takes on so many different changes. And a lot of those changes, I realize, can be emotional as well. Because when I had checked, we know the traditional stuff like the night sweats or the hot flashes, but there are a lot of other things that can occur when you are going through perimenopausal symptoms, such as the emotional states that you get in, the depression, anxiety, the rage, because the hormones are really going wacko. You know what I mean? So I want to ask you, do you have any specific suggestions For women who, okay, we have a commercial break that we need to take. So when we come back, I want you to give us your suggestions as to what, especially for those of us who feel like we're starting to experience menopause symptoms, what can we do when we're feeling like we're losing our mind, when we're feeling like we're so depressed, when we're anxious, when we're getting angry so quickly, flying off the handle. What can we do to really, really get ourselves feeling more balanced and more like our old self? Okay, so we will be right back to discuss this.
So, what's your fancy? Ladies, how about medium and wide with dress pumps, slingbacks, flats, wedges, sandals, tennis, nursing shoes, career kicks, and Crocs? Men, check out our dress and casual shoes, tennis, cleats, sandals, work boots, and water shoes. And for children, dress shoes, casual, school shoes, tennis, cleats, sandals, ballet, jazz, christening, and bedroom shoes. So complete your look in Richie's Calypso.
Okay, welcome back. This show has been very informative, very interesting. We have health guru and nutritionist with us, Shay Thompson from Nassau, and she's been giving us a lot of information, a lot of information. Deborah, I see y'all are continuing to tune in. We have Brenda, my mother-in-law, tuning in from Massachusetts. We have Darnell, who's tuning in. Cheryl, ladies, we need to tune in and we need to share this video because this is a lot of information that can truly transform our lives. And one of the things that Shay was talking about was the nutmeg and how we can use just a pinch, just a little pinch of it to actually put in our foods if we can on a daily basis to really to provide us with a lot of health benefits. And I'm just showing you that. You see there, she showed me what she graded already right there. So it's like very, very small. And that's all you need to put maybe in your oats or on your eggs or your chicken or whatever it is. Very, very small amount. So nothing, Cliff, thank you. Nothing significant, but just great or little. Like she said, this nutmeg can last you. I mean, if you're only using that amount, that can last you a very long time. So, it's not going to be too heavy on our pockets, which is always a concern with healthy eating because healthy eating can become really costly. Now, Shay, before we went to break, I was asking you, for those of us women who feel like, we're starting to experience or actually in the throngs of menopausal symptoms, which can sometimes be emotionally wreaking havoc on our lives. What are some of your suggestions as to how we can get ourselves feeling more balanced, especially emotionally?
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for that question.
Yes.
One of the things, Chrishna, I can tell you is this. What I do know is having gone through perimenopause myself, and then this is really just on the onset of the cycle coming to its complete end. So that's the difference between perimenopause and menopause. However, the body experiences a lot of changes, but we often neglect the mental and the emotional experience particularly. And sometimes people don't look at a female being a little bit irritable or anxious or sometimes just not being patient, and this would be considered normal. And so I tell people, if you have not experienced changing how you eat your food and how you see nutrition, this is definitely the time you want to take advantage of changing the way you connect your food to how you actually feel. It makes a huge difference. And I want to say right now, Chrishna, I don't tell anyone to do anything that I myself don't do.
Right.
I believe in practicing what it is that I preach. I
Yes.
believe in not just talking to women about their health and
Right,
men, but
right.
particularly holding their hand and walking them through, because this emotional side, listen, this ain't no joke.
Are you?
This is nothing to
I don't
play
even know
with.
how to respond to that because it's crazy.
It's crazy. And when we talk about the deficiencies, even I want to hone in a little bit more on nutmeg, and particularly because when we start to go through menopause and we start to lose a lot of our nutrients and our hormones are imbalanced, one of the simple ways we can start to even begin to fix or start to even feel better is just increasing the nutrients. And if we're not getting it primarily through our foods, we can start to supplement. Supplementing can be difficult, but it can be very easy, and it can be easy as getting a whole formula, which includes all of the vitamins and the minerals, so you take the guesswork out of it. So what you want to do is get a multivitamin and mineral formula, not just vitamins, but minerals, because believe it or not,
So
it is-
vitamins, you're saying vitamins, but a lot of us, we say vitamins. Vitamins,
Yeah,
vitamins.
Vitamins, same thing.
Right, right,
Tomato,
right.
tomato.
Okay, okay.
Yes, absolutely. So when you talk about, see, we only look at vitamins, but it's important that we connect vitamins and minerals. And we're talking particularly to the women and men that are going through menopause, that have started this journey, because it is actually the minerals that is going to help to emotionally balance you. When you
Okay.
think about nutmeg, for instance, right?
Right.
When it comes to magnesium, let me look at my notes here. There is 46% of your daily requirement of magnesium in nutmeg.
In that pinch?
And actually it'll be like 3 of those pinches.
Wow.
For the
so,
day.
So Shay, I know a little bit about it from, we had the conference and you told us a lot about magnesium, but
Right.
tell them why the magnesium itself is such an important mineral.
Right, okay, so with magnesium, it's really known as, first of all, it is considered a major mineral, and because throughout our body, our skeletal system as well as our nervous system goes from the head really to our feet. And magnesium is responsible for the nervous system as well as the skeletal system. And so magnesium is also known as a calming mineral.
Right.
It actually calms the heart, it calms the nervous system to help you to sleep. And so magnesium is an important mineral, but there's a downside to it, because magnesium is a water-soluble mineral. You can lose it very quickly, just
Okay.
through exercise, just through sweating, just through movement and going through the kitchen. So it's important that you
Right.
replace your magnesium very often and daily. So magnesium
daily.
is a supplement
Yes,
that you
yes.
should be taking, especially what we refer to as in its loading dosage when you're going through menopause every day.
And how much magnesium should we be taking?
Now, I want to say this. I like to be responsible when I give specific
Yeah,
information.
because I had heard before that sometimes people, we don't realize it, but people have to realize when they're supplementing that they can actually take too much
Absolutely.
of a particular vitamin or a particular supplement.
Right.
So and I think what happened is sometimes lack of knowledge. We
Yes.
just say, oh, we can take a bunch
can
of this.
take it,
Like I
yes.
asked somebody today, they can take like 4,000, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and I want to tell them that isn't really going to make a difference, because if you're taking too much, it could actually have an adverse effect.
Right. So let's say that the answer to that is yes and no, depending on which mineral that we're using.
Right.
And there are some vitamins and minerals that are water soluble, and there's some that are fat soluble. So
Right.
when we look at the fat soluble vitamins and minerals, that is more likely to happen in terms of overdosing. Now,
Right.
when we talk about the water soluble vitamins and minerals, that is more or less likely to happen because we excrete it through our skin, urine, very, very easily. And
Okay.
so there is a lesser chance to overdose, if you
Because
will,
the body has
on
ways
magnesium.
of getting rid of it very easily.
Yes, or vitamin C, because the body is really smart. When it takes what it needs and then it excretes the rest. And so, but there
Okay.
is such a thing that even you may not necessarily overdose, you can have an adverse effect like diarrhea or a little bit of upset tummy
Right,
as well, and
right,
that can come
right.
from taking too much of the magnesium. Now, magnesium comes in a lot of different forms.
Right.
So again, that's a whole nother show.
I know. That's why I'm saying, as a guideline. I know
Right,
we have
as a
to,
guideline.
this is so much information, but we
Yes.
kind of have to gloss over as a guideline. what would you say is the amount a woman should have
Let me say this
daily?
to you. As a guideline, if you have magnesium supplement, turn it around and it'll have what you refer to as the RDA, which is the recommended daily allowance.
Okay.
If on that package says 2 tablespoons recommended daily allowance, I would always say double it, because it will be a loading, you're doubling, and that's because there's a deficiency. Anything
Right.
more than that, it should be specific advice.
Right.
In your
Okay.
case, yeah, anything more than
Okay.
that. So just double whatever the
Recommended
daily
dosage is
ones
on the
on the
back
package
of it.
that you
and
have.
you said, you realize you said teaspoons. And I'm saying that because are you saying that we should do the powder as opposed to the pills?
In most cases, the thing is, if you get a really good source of magnesium, it doesn't matter if you do pill or powder. Again, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff out there is really crappy stuff.
That's what and listen, man, there's so much to discuss, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring ahead. Eleanor, we're going to answer your question because she's asking what is a good vitamin for women during menopause. But I interrupt you because I wanted you to explain the benefits because you started to talk about magnesium.
Right.
And that is one thing that I want to point out too, that unfortunately a lot of the vitamins that we get in the local stores, they are really not any good.
Right. Well, one tip on that. Get your vitamin and mineral supplements at a, let's say, a health food store. You do not want to buy it in the food store, and you do not want to buy it in a pharmacy. You want to
Right.
look for a health
Right.
food store. That's where you want to get it, because these are the places where they're going to concentrate on getting you formulas that don't have fillers and binders and synthetics.
Right,
So you want
right.
a real source, because the truth of the matter is, sometimes I will run into persons that are taking supplements but not necessarily feeling better. And not in all cases, but in most cases, I find that it's the quality of the
And
supplement.
I think that's very important. You don't just go on a shelf and just pick something up.
No, you don't.
You
don't
know,
wanna
I
do
mean,
that.
you should really look into getting as much as you can all natural vitamins
Absolutely.
and minerals, or what we call raw.
Right, or whole food
Right,
supplements.
right,
Yes, you're
right. Which
absolutely
is,
right.
like you say, normally available at the health food stores. I don't
Yes.
think we have any of those here in Freeport. We may, you know, but
Well, you know how you normally get your stuff. I ship it to you. So the thing
yeah,
is, you know,
ship some stuff
you
to
know,
me,
I
and
ship
then
stuff to Freeport all the time.
yeah. So you can
Yeah.
always get if you're really interested. Contact Shay. You're online as well.
I'm
Facebook,
online
right?
as well as Charlene Thompson on Facebook.
Charlene Thompson on Facebook,
or
right?
just Charlene21 is my handle as well.
Okay.
My business handle on
Right.
Facebook
So
as
this,
well.
so for those of you, you can contact her directly, and then we can also go online as well. There's a
yes.
lot of options online as it relates to all natural vitamins.
Yes, and this is why I want to talk about the food, because even for persons that are not sure about the supplements, we're going to talk on Saturday and Sunday about simple traditional foods that we know that is inexpensive, and we really, it just takes a discipline of using the food often, using it every day, and helping and watching it tie into seeing the changes, especially as it relates to insomnia, it relates to depression, it relates to anxiety, it relates to weight loss, relates to just helping you feel better as a whole. Simple foods. We're going to use foods like cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. These are traditional spices that you can find in the food stores, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use these spices in foods, get it to taste good, and help you feel better.
Okay, great. And I know before I had interrupted you about magnesium, you were talking about nutmeg,
Right.
and how much magnesium is in
And the
just
minerals
the
that are
nutmeg.
associated
Seeing
with
the nutmeg seems to be the spice of the day here on the show.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So let's look at copper. As we age, copper
Right.
is one of those minerals we hardly get exposed to because we don't eat a lot of traditional foods. Copper particularly helps with anxiety. Copper helps with graying hair. I've said enough.
So we
right
need
there.
copper.
Copper, which is the amount of copper is actually 33% copper in our daily value. That's in the nutmeg that we're talking about.
Wow.
And if you notice your hair graying and you're trying to help it, nutmeg, put some nutmeg in your shampoo, ingest it, put some of it in the lotion topical. There's so many ways we could use the nutmeg. Manganese.
Right.
Right. These minerals, zinc, phosphorus, especially the men.
Yeah, because
nutmeg,
we have
20%.
we have some men tuning in. I see Christopher's tuning in. I
Hi,
see
man.
John is tuning in. So, man, this information is for you also.
Yes, phosphorus and zinc as well. anywhere from 20 to 30% of your daily value just from using nutmeg. And just a pinch of it, we talked about at least 3 times a day. And so some of these minerals and vitamins that are associated with nutmeg, we don't normally get in our food. And so just incorporating nutmeg can make a huge difference when we look at the menopausal men and women. And yes,
menopausal men.
Listen, the correct term is andropause.
Oh my goodness, man. You see that? You go through and spell that shit.
Andropause. Girl, don't ask me to spell it. I could tell you
Is it like A-N-D-R-O or A-N-T-H?
Yes, no, D-R-O.
Okay, so A-N-D-R-O-P-A-U-S. Okay, so man, you have the andropause.
Andropause, yes.
Wow, learn something new every day.
Yes, andropause, and it is a legal term, and it's just the same thing that men experience. Sometimes they call it midlife crisis. You know,
yeah,
we have
I've
all
heard
these
people
names.
talk about midlife crisis.
Right, but menopause and andropause is a real diagnosis for men and women that are aging and going through these symptoms that we're talking about here today.
Okay, so Shay, let's answer the question that Eleanor asked. You had touched on it, so we'll get back to it. What can we do? What is, for those of us going through menopause, what is the go-to vitamin? You had talked about maybe getting a multi, you know, something fairly simple that we can start off with.
Well, what I can tell you is this. I always recommend a multi. A multi include vitamin and mineral and a whole food formula. Now, in addition to that, I can tell you, I do a lot of supplementing. I do anywhere from between 12 to 15 supplements a day. And the thing is, when I supplement, because I myself was going through perimenopause, and so supplementing for me is really strategic, because depending on the time of the year it is, depending on how busy my schedule is, because I'm doing a lot of workshops and I'm going throughout the islands doing workshops, I don't leave home without magnesium. I'm taking my multi-collagen right now. I'm doing chaga mushrooms. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing because I want to keep my stress levels down. I want to make sure that I'm sleeping. And so I'm adding in all these extra foods.
Oh my God. So,
I know.
okay, Shay. All right. As it relates to supplementation.
Yes.
Just for today, I realize that there's a lot more involved in this, but just for the sake of time, give us 5 things that we should be taking every day, you would say, to help us with our menopausal symptoms, especially the emotional part of things,
Emotional part of it, okay.
Give me 5 things that when I go in the store, or not the store, a health food store, or online, or contact Shay directly, because you want to get all natural stuff.
Yes, it's so
just
important.
like you can have food that's junk, you can actually have vitamins that are useless.
Useless, absolutely
They're just
useless.
filled with, and I realize it's with a bunch of fillers and synthetic stuff.
Yes.
And you, like Shay said, you're taking them, you're thinking, oh, they're not making a difference, because they really don't have what you need actually in them.
No.
So what are 5 things?
Okay, well, my first number 1 is the complete formula with the vitamins and minerals.
So a multivitamin with vitamins and minerals.
Yes.
Okay.
Additionally,
all right.
B12 complex.
A B12 complex, ladies. B12. And I've heard that B12 helps with the mood.
Yes, that's why. But it has to be a B12 complex.
B12 complex, which means it includes all of the Bs, not just 1 or 2 Bs.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yes.
So a B complex that combines all of the B vitamins.
Right, because it helps with the moods, but it also helps to...
Helps with the mood.
It helps with the mood, and in addition to helping with the mood, it actually helps to stabilize the mood and to keep you on a plateau a lot longer. So you'd find you're less likely to become more irritable.
Okay, y'all hear that, ladies? Y'all hear that, right? Less likely to become irritable.
Yes.
And listen, y'all know we's too bad.
Man, listen,
I mean, even before menopause, just be irritable. But I have spoken to many ladies that said, listen, they just get like even in a rage.
Yes.
And they feel like they're losing control of themselves.
Sometimes the easiest things can be a set-off.
Yeah, anything could just tick you off. Okay, ladies, check that out. You're going through something. So B12.
B12
complex.
And incorporate spices.
Okay, incorporate spices.
Yeah, and when I say incorporate them, really, it's simple. Whatever it is that you're eating, let's just say you decided not to change anything about your eating habit. Just say anything about how you cook right now.
Right.
But if you can simply incorporate, let's just say 3 spices. Nutmegs, cloves, and cinnamon. Just those 3 spices. They're very easy to find.
Very common.
Ready, available, and just incorporate these daily in everything that you eat. Just everything.
Okay.
Incorporate spices.
Okay, that's 3.
Now, this isn't necessarily something that you eat, but it's something that you ingest. It's a magnesium bath. Epsom salt.
Epsom salt, people. Put some of that in your bath
Yes.
daily.
Yes. Well, you don't have to do it daily. You can literally do it like
a
three
couple of
times
times a week.
Yes.
Okay.
And take a bath.
Take a bath, ladies. I know we're
Take a
busy.
bath.
Take a bath, man. Well, I don't even know if I could tell a man that. I don't even know if they're gonna do it.
Take
but
a
anyway,
bath.
yes.
And this is the last one.
Okay.
Pink salt. Not sea salt, but pink
Himalayan.
mountain. You got
I
it.
have some.
Yes.
I have some, Cliff. If you could get in the company, I could show it to them. And I noticed that the store is now carrying it.
Yes. Yours
Because-
truly.
Yeah, oh, Solomon's
Yes.
is carrying it because before I'd gotten it from away. Because I learned that the pink Himalayan salt is really like the master of salts.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so I've actually started using it as well.
Good.
So
Absolutely.
pink Himalayan salt. It's
Yes.
now in the local grocery stores. I mean, you can find it anywhere.
Yeah, you can find it anywhere now because what I realized too is the more I talk about it, I go into grocery stores and I talk about it and to get
Right.
people, get the store owners to bring it in, and so it's
Right.
more ready available. Because the truth of the matter is, if we are going to help people to transform and change the way that they eat, the food has to be ready available. It has
Right.
to be quick, easy, accessible, and
Right.
just right there. Now with the
Right.
pink salt.
Right, I was
Now,
gonna
because
ask
the
you
pink
to-
salt is high in potassium and attached to magnesium, it also helps the magnesium that is already in the body to work more efficiently and to work quicker.
Right.
So it helps it to
Right.
get to the bloodstream. Now, pink salt is the way you use it is just simple, really.
Just like you use regularly, like you would
Well,
use it.
in addition to how you use regular salt, you know, or sea salt or gray salt, there's a lot of different types of salt, even pond salt. But when we talk about pink salt, you definitely want to use that in just a little bit of alkaline water first thing in the morning or just before you go to bed. And a little can be anywhere from a quarter teaspoon to a half of teaspoon.
Okay, so you're saying we can incorporate just a half a teaspoon per day in our regular regimen and see the benefits.
Absolutely.
Okay, so people, I got some here, right? Child, I feel like I should get a point. Should I get a, should I get,
Yeah, like a
should I
brownie
get
point.
a point in class, Shay, for having this? But
Absolutely.
I got some of this, and what I've actually been doing is I just had to replace my regular salt.
Yeah, there
So
you go.
I really don't use regular salt anymore, and I don't really use my sea salt anymore. I
Okay.
kind of just use this. So whenever I'm cooking, as opposed to you know, using what I would have used before, I just use this. Now, is this any different from regular salt as it relates? Because I just thought of some things. Those who have hypertension,
Right.
is this,
So again, remember when I started the
because
show?
you know the doctors tell you, the first thing they tell you when you have hypertension, I need you to ease up off the salt.
Yeah.
Would
Well,
this
I
be
don't
different?
necessarily subscribe to that school of thought.
Right.
I think it's sugar that is the culprit, not necessarily salt. But
Right.
going back to salt, one of the things I have to
think
encourage
our
people.
doctors say that, Shay, because you know we use a lot of salt though. Bohemians use a lot of salt.
Yeah, see, unfortunately, what happens is this. Unfortunately, what I find, I think, is the real culprit is we are so accustomed to using a certain type of food that we continue to use it, and the problem is we're not using enough variety. Now, even just listening to you, you said you throw out all the salts and you stick primarily with pink salt. Now, again, that's one of the things I don't necessarily advise. Why? Because even pond salt, there are different nutrients. Sea salt, there's different nutrients. Pink salt as well, and even gray salt. So you want to use a myriad of salts, but in addition to, especially if you're going through menopause, then pink salt will be your primary salt.
Yeah, so I'm sticking with pink salt.
Okay.
This show is coming
Love
to
it.
an end, but for me, Shay, right now, I
You stick
with,
to your pink
I stick
salt.
with the pink salt. I want
That
to say a
works.
thank you again to Richie's Calypso and Simply the Best, our partners who have joined forces with us today to make this show happen.
Yes.
Shay, this is such great information.
Thank you.
So that's the 5 things.
Yes.
A multivitamin, a
Multivitamin and mineral.
multivitamin and mineral,
Yes.
a B complex.
Yes.
Incorporating spices
Spices.
into our daily routine. If we can only do, I mean, even doing 3, nutmeg, clover,
Nutmeg, cloves, and
and
cinnamon.
cinnamon.
Right.
And then the Epsom salt in the
Bath.
bath. And then finally the pink salt.
Got
And this is a question that relates directly to menopause. So that is the advice that Shay gave us. So that's a starting point.
Yes.
And those things are really easy, I think, to incorporate into our
Yes.
daily way of living.
I think that's
So-
important when men and women are going through menopause, is to make whatever you are offering or giving or to help them to make it easy and simple, because in addition to what we're already going through, having a stressful life, I think it has to be easy. And I found that when it's easy, it works. And so even when I'm cooking, this is how I get my clients to make small changes with their
Right.
food, making it
Okay.
easy, making it quick, and making it really ready, available for them to do daily.
Okay, so guess what? We're out of time.
Oh my goodness.
We are out of time. That
Wow.
hour is gone very, very quickly. My clock says 59 minutes. So we're going to go over, producer, 2 minutes, because there's just one or two things I want to get in before we end.
Okay.
So, you gave me look like, who's the producer here?
Wow.
But anyway, Shay,
Yes.
parting words
Yes.
as we end. What would you say to our women as it relates to the connection between physical and emotional wellness and healthy eating?
Yes. Thank you so
Just
much for that opportunity.
some final words. What would be your greatest advice if you could only give?
I think women, and thank you so much again for this opportunity. I think
Yes.
it is so important. I've had the opportunity to experience this myself. We have to change the way we see food and how we eat food. If we look at food as a holistic component and really use food to help us to heal, to help us to grow, to help us to calm, and of course to help us to lose weight, we will definitely see a difference in how we feel overall. And this is why I'm here for my healthy cooking workshop.
Right.
Not just a cooking class, it's a workshop, because
Right.
we are learning as we create, and we have the opportunity to taste the food,
Yes,
because
and
it has to taste good
Right, and we can take these things from that and
Right.
incorporate them into our daily lifestyle.
in our daily lives.
So
yes.
give us all of the information as it relates to the cooking workshop one more time.
Okay.
And then people, you gotta go. So go
Yeah,
ahead. Jay.
okay, so my numbers are 802
802
3300
3300.
or 376 4885. We are at the Cancer Association building
Right.
on West Atlantic Drive. It's this Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m.
Right.
or Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m.
Right,
So you
right.
definitely want to come early. We start on time. And again, my numbers are 376 4885 or what's my other number? Yeah, 802. You forget your number, 802
Right.
3300. So thank you. Hope to see you this Saturday and Sunday
Yes.
from 3 to 5
Yes, so
p.m.
women, everyone who's watching, please share this video. In fact, this video is going to be up on the YouTube channel later this evening. For those of you, please go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can get all of this again. So just want to encourage you to do that, because once you subscribe to the channel, once we put up new videos, you will get your notifications and you'll be able to keep up with Real Talk. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Shay. Let's please support her. The cost is only $15, ladies. And even from this show, you can see the wealth of information that you are going to receive. So
what's
check her
your
out
fancy?
this
Ladies,
coming
how
Saturday,
about
this coming
medium and
Sunday,
wide
3 to
with dress
5.
pumps,
Thank you
sling
so
bags,
much for
flats,
joining us.
wedges,
Have an
sandals,
awesome
tennis,
weekend
nursing
and
shoes,
be
career
blessed.
kicks, and Crocs. Men, check out our dress and casual shoes, tennis, cleats, sandals, work boots, and water shoes. And for children, dress shoes, casual, school shoes, tennis, cleats, sandals, ballet, jazz, christening, and bedroom shoes. So complete your look at Richie's Calypso, your #1 family-friendly footwear store.